Oh, I think I'm already live. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. If you're watching this back, my good name is Wamboy. Thank you so much for being here. It's yet another day. God, I am so glad to be here. Today is on Monday. I don't know how your weekend was and how is your Monday going. How is your morning? How is your afternoon? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching me from. My good name is Wamboy. Oh my God, yet another day to show up on here. Uh, yes. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. My good name is Omboy. We are talking about red flags on a first date. That's what we're talking about. Red flags on a first date. So that's what we're gonna be talking about. And I know you guys have a lot to say. Not to mention, I do have a lot to say. Personal stuff. Uh, okay. So get ready to be vulnerable on here. My good name is Omboy. Yes. Okay, so we're just getting started, and as usual, we usually wait for people to join in. Kindly, when you join in, let me know where you're watching me from. Like the live stream and subscribe. My good name is Wamboy. Thank you so much. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. Yes. Welcome to the live stream. Oh my God. Yeah. So we're waiting for some people to join in here. We're just getting started. Let me know how was your weekend. Let me know how is your week going. How are you doing so far? What caught your attention over the weekend? So welcome to the live stream. We're talking about red flags on a first date. Red flags on a first date. And what could be some of the red flags on a first date. They don't have to look similar, but yeah, so that's what you're talking about. And this topic is even open to the married people. Let us know some of the red flags you used to see when you were in the dating pool and stuff. So what screams red flag on a first date? That's what you're gonna be talking about. So, but as usual, we're gonna wait for a little bit before we get started. Yes. Lord, I think I might need some tea before people get in here. Let me get my... Welcome to the live stream, you guys. Welcome to the live stream. Let me get myself a cup of tea before you guys join in. We're talking about red flags on a first day. Let me know some of the red flags on a first day. But in the meantime, let's like the live stream and subscribe. Also, let me know where you're watching me from. How is your morning? How is your afternoon? Yes. So that's what we are gonna be doing. Let me get myself a cup of tea for a minute. Guys, welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. My good name is Wamboy. Thank you so much for being here. We are talking about red flags on a first date. Red flags on a first date. My good name is Wamboy. I'm waiting for you guys to kind of like join in. Kindly like, subscribe. So we're gonna be talking about what screams red flag. What screams red flag on a first date? But before we get started, can you guys like the live stream? Let me know where you're watching me from. What screams red flag on a first date? Bob, good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Asking to spend a lot, or a lot of money, or a lot of time. Okay. So what's one thing someone can do on a first date that instantly makes you know there won't be a second one? Like somebody does something and then you're like, you know what? Nope, this ain't it. This ain't it, you know. So we're talking about red flags. We're just getting started, you guys. If you just bumped into the channel and you're like, oh my god, they're way, no, you can contribute to this topic. And as always, I'm gonna get so personal with this topic. Red flags on a first date. What's something that somebody have ever done on your first date and then you're like, you know what, I am pretty sure we will not have a second one or even a third one, okay? Bob says asking to spend a lot. And I asked if it's a lot of money or a lot of time. So something that I'm saying, I think for me, constantly on your phone, okay? It's the first date, we just met, and like literally, you know, right now I feel like every one of us, we are kind of like phone crazy, scrolling crazy or something. So you will literally be in the middle of the most amazing thing that can ever happen to you, and then we are just so lost in our phones, okay? So constantly on their phones. If somebody is constantly on their phones, then it's like, you can have your phone, okay? First of all, after this date, you're gonna go home and have your phone, okay? um Bob Manuel says a lot of money. Okay, so Bob says a lady who wants to spend a lot of money on the first date, that's an instant red flag. Wow. uh Bex Evans says first day, good job, okay? Same, that's what I'm saying, okay? Okay, so let me know some of your personalized red flags on the first date. Okay, we are just getting started, you guys. Okay, okay, bear with me for that one, guys. Where are you at? Here I am. I'm back. Sorry. Kind of disappeared. Okay, guys, we're talking about red flags on the first date. Red flags on the first date. CJ says, hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you doing? God, it's been a minute. How was you guys this weekend? Okay, we're talking about red flags on the first date. So one of my red flags, or like it's like red flag, pet peeve, and everything. Okay, smarty pants. Okay, thank you. One of my pet peeves, or something that would make me feel like, you know what, we are not gonna go for a second date, is like you are obsessed with your ex. Okay, this is our first date and you're just here talking about your ex. Okay, you know, you might as well go back to them. Okay, so yeah, somebody who is talking so much about their exes, obsessed with their exes, telling me about the previous relationship. This is our first date. I don't need to know about that person. We are gonna talk about them later. Hey y'all says hi to you, good to see you, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. We're talking about red flags on our first days. Let me know some of the things that have made you think, you know what, this person, no, you single? No, I'm not single. Okay, so another thing for me that's like an instant red flag, like no, you're not gonna be going uh hey y'all says thank you, same to you. Okay, so another thing that is literally an actual red flag for me is somebody who is love bombing too quickly. Like honestly, this is your first date, you're just getting to know somebody and already you are like, you know, I love you so much, I can't do life without you. You know what, we just met right now, okay? So the least thing you can do is like love bomb me, get to know me. So somebody who is like instantly, you guys just met, this is your first date, and instantly they are like they love you, I feel like that's a red flag. Let me know some of you as you guys. Mhm. Yeah. Literally, it's so cold out here. So guys, I got a question right here. What's the biggest first date red flag you've personally experienced? What's the biggest first date red flag you've personally experienced? Let's look at that. Okay, I'm typing that. What's the biggest first date red flag you've experienced? Let's see what you guys have to say. What's the biggest first date red flag you've experienced? What's the biggest first date red flag you've experienced? You've personally experienced, okay? Maybe it could be you. Yes, yes. So welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. We're literally just getting started. We're just, I think, five minutes in or something, or 10. I don't know. Okay. So we're just getting started. So first of all, I've talked about like talking so much about their exes. Okay, you know, people who are just so obsessed like their past. Okay, you know, my ex was like this, my ex was like that, literally she could do this, I loved her and stuff. You know, I really don't need to hear all of that. Okay, so I've talked about talking so much about your ex, people who are obsessed with their exes. uh I like, CJ says, I like the art in the bark. Did you draw them? No, I bought them. Okay, I wish I could draw like that. That's literally genius. Okay. So guys, we are talking about red flags on a first date. Red flags on a first date. So I just said mine. One of mine is like talking so much about their exes. So what's the biggest first date red flag you've experienced? Okay. Yeah, first of all, I think he's so cold. Let me take this tea. Because wow, I'm tempted to wear my sweater. Because it's so cold. Let me just wear. Evan says, Okay, God, let me tell you guys, Mondays I'm usually like, it's like I don't want to do the show because I've experienced the goodness of the weekend. But wow. Eh. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. My good name is Omboy. We're talking about red flags on a first date. Red flags on a first date. So now I'm feeling hot. God, what? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know what I'll do about the. It's kind of cold. Let me open the windows or something. It's hot and it's cold. I just don't know. Okay, but you guys, I hope you guys are still joining in. We are talking about red flags on a first date. Okay. So another red flag for me on the first date. Lord, am I meant to do this show today? Okay, so what I was talking about, something that's a red flag for me on the first date also is like oversharing too quickly. Okay, you know what? We just met and you're here. Wow, I hope I'm back. Lord, sorry for that. Wow, God, when you now start with internet problems, can you enjoy the show? Eh. I don't like the internet out here because it's usually so unpredictable. And now I'm so cold. So hot. Eh, Lord, when is today? It's on Monday. You guys bear with me. If I'm live, okay, I think I'm live. Let me see. By watching myself. Okay, yeah, I'm live. Okay, welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. My good name is Wampo. We are talking about red flags on a first date. Okay, red flags on a first date. And before I had the internet lagging and stuff, I was talking about one of my like the red flags that I see on a first date is somebody when like you guys you just met, so this is your first date and somebody is so obsessed with talking about their ex. Okay, you know, my ex was such a good person. You know what? That's such a red flag. And deep down, I'm like, you know what? This is the last time you'll ever see me. Okay. So we have a question on the screen. What's the biggest first date red flag you've experienced? what's the biggest first date red flag you've experienced? You can say it in a personal way, or maybe you can tell a friend's story or something. Okay, that's what you're looking for. So another one for me, like a red flag that it's like, you know what, you're not gonna see me for a second date, is constantly on your phone. I think right now every one of us, we all know that like we are too obsessed with our phones. We've got things going on in our phones. First of all, like even me as a person, for example, like today we've had protests in this country, okay? I was going out, let's say, to check out all the protests, and then when I come back, the only thing that I can do, I have television, but I just don't feel like watching. I'm like, let me just scroll. This is the last video, okay? But see, somebody coming with their phone on the date, and then the whole time you are enjoy you there's a nice meal in front of you guys, but the only thing is like constantly on their phone. Okay, that's just sounds like no, you know. Another one, the one I was talking about before we had the internet lag, was oversharing too quickly. Okay, you know, this is the first date, we just met and stuff. We're supposed to be know I'm supposed to be knowing where you're from, what you believe in, and stuff like that. You're supposed to be knowing the same things about me, and instead of doing that, you're just telling me like everything that, you know, it just sounds like you got some issues and you want to like trauma dump on me. Okay, so guys, this is not like this is not about a lecture. Okay, so fill me in. What's the biggest first date red flag you've experienced? Something that somebody did, and then it's like, nope. There's a friend of mine who was telling me that like she was seeing somebody, and not seeing somebody, they were just starting to know each other, like it was a first date scenario and stuff. Okay, and then they went to a nice restaurant, and then at the end of the day, she brought the guy back home with her. Okay, so they were gonna spend some time. I think no, the guy escorted her, and then she was like, oh, just come on in, we can spend a little bit of time, and then you can leave after that. And then within no time, like he was like, can I use your bathroom? And then of course he's like, yes. So thinking that he's just gonna go there to pee. Okay? Literally, this man was so disrespectful that he went in there. He went in there to like use the washroom. Like and he was in there for a long time, okay? So and then she was like, that's the last time he ever heard from her, because he's like, are you even serious? Like, what? Even the audacity to use somebody's washroom, and like that was supposed to be your first date and you're using their washroom, is really like, nope. CJ says, I haven't gone on a first date in years, so I'm not sure if I can comment on this topic. Yes, you can. Maybe back in the day, some of the red flags, that it doesn't have to be even like you went to be it doesn't have to be that you went to a nice restaurant. It can be like an experience that you just had, as far as it was the first date. Okay, Doreen Wamboy says, hi to you, Doreen, good to see you. Oh my god, it's been a minute. Thank you so much for coming back. Soleimane Kase, Soleimane Kase. Oh, and you know, Kase means cheese in German. Welcome to the live stream. Speed Odi says, peace be upon you, amen. Peace be upon you too. CJ says, hold on, she got mad because he wanted, no, you know, it's one thing if you want to use the restroom to pee, okay, but you want to you want to use the restroom to go and like, no. Okay, if it's peeing, then that's okay, but honestly, I'm not trying to use somebody's washroom that I just met and I want them to find me attractive. No, I'm not gonna use their washroom on the first date. Not like that. Peeing is one thing, but going in there like for an extent, no. Let me know, you guys. Do you feel like people should use? Let's say you just met someone. Okay, are you allowed to use their washroom? Like you're just getting to know them, are you allowed to like go in there, unless, how do I say it without, because I don't want to use bad words, but are you allowed to go and shit in their place? Like, are you allowed? You just met them. CJ is just laughing. Soli Mariseka says, how are you doing? I'm doing great. How are you? Welcome here, the village side. Okay. Okay, I'm from the village, so yeah. CJ says, sounds like she's the one who is the red flag. Okay, tell me, CJ, would you go to use somebody's washroom? You just met them, this is your first date, and then you go in there and then you go to shit? Like, would you? Okay, sorry for those people who don't like curse words, okay? Itotia then it says, hi to you, Itotia. Good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Solimane says, everything going well, no problem, okay? Oh my god, you're welcome on the channel. Kingsley says hello to you, Kingsley. Welcome to the live stream. Let me know some of the red flag on a first date, some of the things that people do on the first date, and then you are like, you know what, you're not gonna hear from me ever again. Enjoy yourself right now, because this might be the last time you ever hear from me. CJ says that's offensive to the highest level. Where else is he gonna go to the, you know what, let him hold up, and then he will go to use the washroom at his place, okay? First of all, like, before you leave the house, didn't you know you wanted to use the bathroom? You know, you're just not, you're just being, no. Cassie says, but you're a lot like Madame. Okay, welcome on here, guys. We're talking about red flags on our first date. And I said that, like, you shouldn't be comfortable to use somebody's washroom on a first date. Like, first of all, it's one thing if you want to go in there and pee, but going in there is the first date. But, like, let's say you just escorted, or they just escort. No, you're not going to do that. CJ says, I would do the same for you if it was by high. If it was by high, why would you deny someone from using the restroom? No, no, you don't get. Okay, you. It's the first date. Don't you want them to think that? Okay, how do you want them to think about you? That's the real question right here. How do you want them to think about you? No. First of all, let me tell you. Okay. Me personally, I can go to a place and not use the washroom for like a whole week. Honestly, you just, these problems. What? That's now it's pissing me off. Soli Marekase says, I think feel the jaw. Something CJ's Okay, guys, welcome to the live stream. You're still talking about red flags on a first date. Let me know some of the red flags that you've noticed or you've seen on a first date, okay? So another one that of course I think we've talked about when we were talking about pet peeves, okay? I would say maybe chewing loudly, okay? You know what? If you guys are trying want to like get into my mind or what I think about the first date, I think like I'm trying to be attractive for you, okay? Maybe I'm second guessing. I'm pretending as if I don't eat so much on that first date. So I also expect you not to chew loudly, okay? So on the first date, something that I expect of you on the first date, do not chew loudly, okay? If you chew loudly on the first date, I will be like, you literally do not care how I see you. So which means, I'm not real sure if you're really attracted to me, you know? So I think chewing loudly is an instant red flag, okay, on the first dates. Let me know some of the red flags, okay? And we do have a question on the screen. What's the biggest first date red flag you've ever experienced? CJ says, that's the first time for me. You have me ever here dying laughing. No, you know, it's the first date. Don't come to my place to oh Lord, okay? I'm not scared to okay, if you're not scared, first of all, like, okay, you know what, you can just go and think over there, okay? You can go and think over there. Do you guys think that somebody should use let's say it's the first date, so let's say it's the first date, you escort a lady to her place, or even as a man you invite a lady to your place, do you expect her to use your washroom on that first date? Honestly, my answer is no. No, you don't get to use the washroom, especially if it's peeing, that's okay, okay? But you don't come to this place and go to shit. Like, no. No. No, you need to hold up. First of all, I am good at this. Like literally, I can go for a whole week without drinking because I really care how this person sees me. I really care how this person sees me. It's the first date for a reason. Okay. Hmm. Let me know some of the biggest first date red flag you've experienced. Something that somebody did that you were like, you know what? No. CJ says I'm not scared to share. CJ, that's me. But then again, I'm a shameless person. Okay, you need to buy some shame for you. You know. If you would do that, I don't know what else you wouldn't do on the first date. Okay. Another one, like a red flag for me on the first date is somebody who is like being so touchy. We don't know each other, we are getting to know each other, but then you're being excessively touchy. Like you're being excessively touchy, you're turning it into a sexual experience, and we're just getting to know each other. That's such a red flag. Like nope, 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 nope. Read the room, okay? We're just getting to know each other. So I feel like that's a red flag for me. Like somebody being so touchy, extremely sexual and seductive at the same time on the first date, especially if you see something long term. Because if you don't see something long term, I don't think there would ever be a first date. It would just be a one night stand or something. Like if you're not trying to date someone, you just go ahead and sleep with them. Okay, but if you're trying to date them, maybe that's when there's a process of knowing each other. I just don't know, and I don't want you guys to say that I'm telling you what to do. So let me know, what's your experience with your first dates? What do you usually do? What is that thing that, like, when somebody does that, you're like, this one, nope. uh Sam says hello, director and producer. Hello to you, good to see you, welcome on here. So another question. Guys, I am so sorry. God, we are having a very bad internet connection, but I think I should have that under control. Let me wait for you guys to join back in. Lord, what type of internet connection is that, guys? Welcome to the live stream. I'm so sorry for those who are coming in and out because I was having an internet problem. So we're talking about red flags on a first date. And we have a question on the screen. We do have a question on the screen. Can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? Can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? Do you believe like a bad first date can turn into a good relationship, or do you believe if you ignore the bad things that happen on a first date, do you believe that that relationship will be steady? What do you believe in? Okay, remember we're still talking about first date. Okay, red flags on a first date. Let me know some of the things that people do on the first date, or like when you just meet them. Let's say you were interested in them before you spoke with them, and then you are like, you know what, nope, I think I had misinterpreted what that was. Okay, I have talked about people who are just so obsessed with their exes. Okay, this is the first date. We're just getting to know each other. You're telling me everything about your ex. You're telling me who they are. Honestly, I really don't need to know who they are on the first date. We can talk about that later on, or when I ask. Okay. Another thing that I've talked about is like constantly on your phone. I know right now we are so obsessed with our phones. Okay, we all love our phones. Okay, but literally, you just met someone, uh just don't be so much on the phone, which is in the front. Okay, I just don't know, maybe the claps or something. um Another one is love bombing immediately. We just met and you just hear love bombing. Okay, so can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? Can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? mm, I would say yes and yes or no, but it's so hard. It's so hard to move on from having a bad first date, because I feel like the way somebody presents themselves on the first date, or like how you see them on the first date, that's how most probably you're gonna see them. That's why I was saying that you don't need to be using somebody's washroom on the first date. because honestly, that's how they're gonna be seeing you, and you don't want to start the relationship like that. You don't want them to see you as the washroom person. Okay. So we have a question on the screen. Can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? Can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? I think that's literally so personal. It depends with how you see things. Maybe you are like, okay, maybe that was just a misstep and stuff. But if you will still keep referring to that experience of the first date, then I think uh you need the first date to be like perfect. Okay. Guys, we have a question on the screen. Can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? Can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? Okay. So another one is like asking weird personal questions. Okay, you just met someone, you ask them how much they are making and stuff like that. You know, the financial aspect will come on later. I feel like us ladies, we are the one who literally like to do that. You just met a guy, you want to know how much they are making. Okay, first of all, like, just get to know their personality, get to know who they are. And then, because I feel like the financial questions, they are literally too personal, and if you're not going anywhere in the relationship, I don't see a reason for telling someone. So somebody who is asking so much, too much personal and financial questions, that's a bad first date. That's a bad first date. Guys, we have a question. Can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? Yeah, I think today is one of those days where the internet have decided to what is it called? To fail me. Definitely can. So, how is that like? Why? Okay, can a bad first date turn into a good relationship? Okay, so are you willing to see past the bad things that happened maybe on the first date? Maybe they said something that you didn't like. So when you have a bad first date, Susie asked, have you ever had a bad first date? Yes. Story time. Okay, but I don't think for me. So this was the situation. Okay, so I was still in campus. And back then, like, honestly, everybody was new to me. I went to a campus where it was very far away from where I grew up. Okay, so everyone out there was literally new to me. So there was this day. There was this day where like I was, God. There was this day where I was at a restaurant. It was not literally, I couldn't say it was, I would say it was just a regular hotel. Okay, so I was just having some food. Okay, and then um this guy out of nowhere, I just had known him for a short time, not literally a long time. No, actually, I didn't know him. I had just seen him like 3 times or 4 times. Like, I just said hi to me. So he comes into the hotel and then he sees me seated. I was seated somewhere eating alone. You know me, I got audacity. I usually go to restaurants and hotels alone. I don't have a problem with that. So I think I was sitting there. I was eating my stuff. And then the guy comes, sits there, and then he orders something. He tells the waiter, can you please bring me some bring me something to the table? Okay, and then the waiter brings the food. Let me tell you, after we are done eating, so I was hoping everybody pays their amount. Okay, because first, like, I think he was interested in me, but for me, I didn't see it that way. Okay, and then when it's time to pay, he says that, like, God, oh, my phone is not working, because out here usually we mostly pay with our phones. And then he starts saying, guys, my phone is not working, can you please pay for me and then I'll refund you? Okay, and I'm like, wait a minute, excuse me. Like, why would you sit down, order something, and you didn't have money to pay? Okay, why would you do that? So I think that's the only time that I would consider it was like a bad, because this guy was just getting to know me. It was his first time ever seeing me. No, okay, he had seen me before, but it was the first time like sitting on a table with me, and then he's telling me to pay for him. uh so So the outcome was like he was insisting that I should pay for him because my phone was working. Okay, but I just told him that no, I will not pay because when I came into the hotel or the restaurant, I wanted to pay for myself. Like I just wanted to eat my food and pay for myself and stuff. I didn't plan to pay for two people. Okay, what happened? I think I ended up paying. Did he ever return that money? I doubt it. But that experience changed the way I saw him. Like honestly, I wasn't even trying to get nowhere with him because honestly, I was even hoping he would volunteer to pay for us both because he's the guy. Okay. CJ says I got drunk one time before a date and it went kind of bad, but we still ended up doing our thing. Hey. Wow. Okay. I feel like also if you show up drunk, that's a red flag. Like, nope. But also it depends. What do you do when you show up drunk? How do you behave yourself? Like, how did you carry yourself? Were you all over the place? I guess we're talking about red flags on a first date. Like, what's some of the things that somebody does on the first date and then you're like, you'll never hear from me again. I just gave my story where this guy, like, we are at a restaurant, we finish eating, and then he says he doesn't have the money I should pay, and that he will refund me or something. It used to be back in the day in campus, but still, who does that? Like, where is your yeah, that's a level of audacity that I have never even come across. Okay, what? Uncle Jukebox, hello, good to see you. Solika says the contact. CJ says, no, I was just very aggressive, but she actually like it though. Oh my god, why do women like aggressive men and like bad boys? I always say that I feel like women like bad boys. Why do women always like bad boys? Okay, wow, she liked it. Did you guys end up maybe going home? If she liked it, maybe I don't know. Say Finding CF says hi to you, Paulino. Yelcon says hi to you. Welcome to the live stream, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. My good name is Wamboy. I was born and raised in Kenya. I usually go live every day, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. For example, like today, we are talking about what screams red flags on a first date. I have given my story of a guy expecting me to pay. Okay, of course, this was not somebody that I was seeing, but still at the same time, that was like, even if I was planning to see him, would I even? CJ says, so did you have a walk of shame after paying for his bill after the date? Honestly, I really can't remember well because I don't even remember his name or something, but I remember that experience and I remember being so upset. What happened? No, I didn't have a walk of shame. Why would you have a walk of shame for? If anything, I walked with my chest out. Yeah, no. And honestly, it wasn't a date. Remember, I was sitting at the restaurant, I was eating. And then this guy shows up. We had just met a few days ago and like we had said hi several times. This is in campus, okay? So, okay, because that's embarrassing for some women, okay? Honestly, I just didn't feel anything, but I felt upset. Like, I was very upset. Like, why would you show up, sit at a restaurant, you don't have money to pay? I think I'm the only one who is usually so cautious. Like, me personally, even if a guy is taking me out, and I'm usually very careful with even what I order. I gotta have that money in my pocket before I eat because I just don't want to be left there. Okay. Paulino Elcon says, sorry for what I'm late. Can you just brief the topic? Say, Google. Sorry for that, I'm late. Can you just brief the topic which you have been discussing before I joined? We are talking about red flags on a first date. What screams red flag on a first date? Like some of the things that maybe men and women do on a first date, and then you're like, you know what? No, you don't get to do that. Something that somebody does, and then you're like, you know what? You'll never get to hear from me again. This is the first and last date that you'll ever have with me. Okay, I've talked about somebody who is so obsessed with their exes that the whole date is all about, my ex did this, my ex did that. did this for me, used to do this for me. No, I'm not your ex. I'm not trying to compete with that person. Another thing that I just said is constantly on your phone. Is the first date, you're just so much glued on your phone. Okay, you can't help yourself. Love bombing immediately, being extra touchy, asking weird financial questions. And I think the major one that I think we were laughing out here was like wanting to use my bathroom. Okay, you're not gonna. It's the first date. Why do you want to come and use my washroom? Why do you want to use my washroom? For example, if it's to pee, that's okay. But other things, it's like nope. So let me know some of you as what is your name, Paulino Yelcon, and feel welcome on the show. Okay, guys, welcome to the live stream. So can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? Honestly, I don't think so. Maybe it can, I don't know, but most probably I feel like that's a permanent dent in a relationship. Okay, good. I feel like that's a permanent dent in a bad first date, because that's how you're gonna be remembering these people. Okay, you don't want to remember the first date to be a bad experience. You want, and that's what it is. Like, you really want to make them want you more. Like, on the first date is your chance to make yourself to look as attractive as possible. The first date is your chance for you to like show off, you know think that, if you're not trying to show me that you're really cool, you're not trying to show me that you're really cool on the first date, when will you ever show me? Okay, that's why I feel like that's why it's important, especially for ladies. It's important for a man to like be intentional on the first date, because if he's not being intentional with that, if he's not trying to show off to you on the first date, show what he can do to you, open the doors for you, the car doors, the restaurant, if he's not trying to hold the chair for you and stuff, when will he ever do anything? When? Okay. So another Tuwili Kana Mutenya. Why are you black? Okay. Your name also sounds black. I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like people usually show up here expecting me to. I usually don't get upset. I think people who have been here long enough know I don't get upset with. Yeah. Why am I black? Your name first of all sounds black. Why am I black? It's because I'm black. Okay, there's no explanation to that. Or because I'm born to black parents. Okay, guys, welcome to the live stream. Good to see you all. We're talking about what screams red flag on the first date. What screams red flag on the first date? So another one for me is somebody who you're taking selfies every 2 minutes. Okay, we are on the first date, and instead of focusing on like getting me to see that what you can do, who you are and stuff, you're like every 2 minutes. And I feel like we're in such a generation where like every 2 minutes, selfie, cheers, selfie here and there. I feel like, okay, it's okay if we end up taking 2 or more pictures and stuff, but not every 2 minutes. Paulino Elcon says, I understand it's happening in my love with a lady now, but I realize it's starting to you ladies in the first dates, because nothing can nothing can the ladies feel in love apart from that. God, can you please I think, God, sorry, I think it has a lot of typos. I really can't. I understand it's happening in my love with a lady now, but I realize it's starting to you ladies in the first dates, because nothing can I'm assuming you're saying that like first dates are really important for ladies. Okay, I think first dates are not important to men as it is for ladies. Like, that's the chance for you to see what you're dealing with. Okay. Solly Monica says, what's up? Hi. Richard Smith says, greetings pretty early. Okay, welcome to the live stream. How are you doing? It's been a minute. Thank you so much, Richard, for joining in. We're talking about red flags on a first date, and we have a question on the screen. Can a first date still turn into a good can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? Can a bad, and maybe I think when I look at it, first of all, I'm giving from a perspective of 23. I'm gonna be turning 24 soon, you guys. So I'm giving from a perspective of a 23 somebody. Okay, let me just say 24 because I'm turning 24 in a few days. So yeah, so I'm giving from that perspective. But also I would like to know from the perspective of people who have been married before. Like, what's a bad first date for you? What can make a date to be a first date for you, a bad date for you? Okay, so another one for me is somebody who is making jokes that are actually insults. Okay, first of all, this is our first date. You're supposed to be trying to make me feel good about myself and stuff. Okay, and I'm supposed to be trying to make you feel good about yourself. Okay, now you're there making jokes of like, I don't like fat women and stuff. And then you're just laughing, and maybe most probably maybe I'm fat or something. No, we're not gonna be doing that in here. Like, if you're making jokes that are actually insults, nope. Thank you so much. Another one is ordering, somebody who is ordering expensive things then forgetting wallet. I think I wrote that on purpose because of that story that I just gave. You're ordering things, okay, and I think this one is mostly for the men from a man's perspective. Okay, I feel like ladies should learn to like order something that you can pay for yourself. I feel like on these days you go there and like you're trying to eat things that you can never afford. Like, how are you expecting this person is going to pay? Okay, how are you expecting? CJ says, well, I'm guessing you don't like men with a crude sense of humor. No, okay, okay, no, you know what? First of all, the thing is, English is not my first language, okay? That's something that you guys should know, okay? So the fact that English is my first language, mostly my humor is in the other languages that I speak, okay? So mostly you say something in English that's really humorous, I will not laugh because I will not even understand the humor, okay? So, yep. So I will not understand. So there is also that, but no, I like somebody with a little bit of humor, but don't come here to make jokes of looks and stuff. Nope. I guess we're still talking about what screams red flags on a first date. What screams red flags on a first date? What screams red flags on a first date? So we do have another question right here. Have you ever been the red flag on a first date? Have you ever been the red flag on a first date? Mohammed Yusuf Abdulaziz says, hi to you, Mohammed. Good to see you. How are you? I'm good. Nice outfit. Thank you so much. Have you ever been the red flag on a first date? So have you ever done something and then on your first, and then you're like, you know what? I just hope that this person didn't get offended by that. Like, have you ever been the red flag on a first date? Maybe you're being too touchy. It's just the first date. You're just being too touchy and seductive and stuff. Maybe you're constantly on your phone. Maybe you just lost interest the moment you spoke for a little bit and then you just checked out. So have you ever been the red flag on a first date? Can you show your full outfit, please? Nope. Nope. Have you ever been the red flag on a first date? Have you ever been the red flag on a first date? Let me think about it. Have I ever been the red flag on a first date? Yeah. I think maybe I have. Especially when it comes to somebody that, let's say, I really like. Okay. So which means the whole thing of being sex you too fast, it can go either way. Okay. So I think yes, every one of us have been the red flag on a first date. Let's say you just felt safe real quick and you started oversharing, you started asking some personal questions. Let's say you were there whining to this person about your previous partner, crying, expecting them to hold you about your previous partner. Oh my god. I think yes. uh, have you ever been the red flag on a first date? Have you ever been the red flag on a first date? Guys, remember we were talking about what screams red flag on a first date. Some of the red flags that maybe you would have gone through or like you've noticed on first dates. Or maybe you guys don't go on first dates. Maybe you guys don't go on first dates. Maybe it's like, uh-huh, I think you. I don't understand you, Mohammed. Hmm. It's really nice tea. I think you guys, most of you don't go on first dates, so you don't have a clue. Maybe they have first date, but you know what? I don't. For some people, they don't have to do that. Maybe if you are already friends with the person, you don't feel any need to like go on a first date. Maybe you just keep going with your whole story. Okay. So another red flag for me or something that I've noticed. I like writing my points down. So another red flag for me is a man who is flirting with the waitress. Okay, we are on a date and you just hear flirting with the ladies who are serving drinks and stuff. You know, if you're flirting, like you're getting to know me or like you wanna know me, and then you're flirting with the waitress. Nope, nope. I feel like that's a red flag right there on a first date. Another red flag on a first date. Uh, Wow, there's a lot of them. God, I'm trying to look for the ones that are literally slightly and stuff because I think you guys don't go on first dates. I'm just saying, sorry. Uh huh. Okay, first of all, Mohammed, okay? Let me tell you, you can't put me down, okay? You tell me to show the outfit, I say no. Can't you take boundaries and stuff? Lord. Why I have a flat chest is because I'm a man. Thank you. Okay, mm-hmm. So would you leave a date halfway through if you saw a red flag? Would you leave a date halfway through if you saw a red flag? Uh-huh. Would you leave a date halfway through if you saw a red flag? Okay, would you leave a date? I don't think so. I think personally I wouldn't. Like I think I would just stay the whole time and then after when I go home that's when I'm like, ooh, yep, nope. Okay, would you leave a date halfway through if you saw a red flag? Okay, guys, welcome to the live stream. My good name is Womboy. Thank you so much for being here. We're talking about red flags on a first date. What's one thing someone can do on a first date or even say that instantly makes you know there won't be a second one, or that makes you instantly know that, you know what, this is not my person right here. No, this is not it. Okay, I've talked about mine, the ones that I written down. talking so much about their exes, people who are literally too obsessed with your exes, first of all. And then, okay, I can understand, let's say I just ask you a question about your ex, and you're taking me through that, and maybe you get emotional. That one I can understand, but I don't want you to be obsessing about that. Another one is constantly on your phone, taking selfies, scrolling, receiving phone calls from random people. I feel like you can receive that later on. Another one for me is oversharing too quickly. We just met, blah blah blah, and then you just over here trauma dumping and stuff, love bombing immediately. And this one can be either side, okay? Because the other question was like, have you ever been the red flag? I think you, CJ, you usually have questions for every scenario. Uh-huh. Did your fiance ever give you any red flags when you all were on dates? First of all, like you have to realize that when it comes to long distance relationships, most of these things don't apply, because mostly how it works is, let's say you have a whole month, let's say one of you fly to the other one, okay, and then you have a whole month. Okay, you have a whole month. You have a whole month, so it's long distance, so which means you guys are in different continents, okay? So when you guys meet, let's say you have a whole month, okay, so what happens is most of the time you're in the same restaurant, so which means I think I think I would say no. I think I would say no. And if even if there was, my scenario was like there wasn't, like literally we had already had so many first dates on the phone. So which means by the time we were there, it's like nope, like it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. You're making me shy and stuff, okay? So, but I feel like this stuff, honestly, if you've ever been in a long distance relationship, you know that like most of the things that you don't do them like how you would do them if you lived in the same country. I feel like people in long distance literally also get married real quick, especially if you want to, what is it called, break the distance or end the distance and stuff, which means, let's say, by the third time that you guys fly to each other, you get married, or maybe by the fourth time or stuff, because it's expensive to fly back and forth and stuff. So which means things are totally different. First dates are totally different. Actually, I've seen people who maybe are doing long distance relationship, and what happens is, when one person flies to the other one, and then because of course you guys maybe have gotten to know each other over the phone for like a whole year, so what happens is like you already like each other, you confirm when you see them physically, and then after that, so what happens is just you go forward and you just get married on the first trip, which I really, for me, that's scary. I think I can't do that. I really need to know somebody. So the answer is nope. So I think the answer is no. Uh, so, what's one red flag you ignored because you liked the person and later regretted? I think that's too personal. That's too personal, CJ. See what you're talking about, asking personal questions. That's too personal. No, we are waiting till marriage. Lynn says, hi. Hi to you. Good to see you. Lord. Good to see you, Lynn. How are you doing? Oh, no, not in that way. Not in that way. Oh, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but you have me here, Shai, so I'm not going to answer that question. Loveness Kachere. Oh, Lynn says, hi, good to see you too. How have you been, Lynn? Loveness Kachere says, I think you are asking, what am I drinking? Tea? Yeah, I'm drinking something, guys. We are talking about red flags in a relationship, or uh, something that makes you think that there will not be a second one. Uh, plant based vegan. Okay, you know what? Just give me a break, okay? Lynn says, have you heard the new K-pop group have? Okay, honestly, I don't usually watch K-pop. I used to, but I don't anymore. Like, maybe I might try and watch. Maybe I might try and watch. Guys, we're talking about um first date. Okay, first date. Red flags on the first date. Red flags on the first date. Let me know some of the things that uh some of the first dates that you've some of the things that maybe have happened to you on the first day, and then you're like, you know what, this ain't it, this is not it. I was just being facetious, okay? Okay, honestly, I don't take offense, I'm like, just, you know what, whatever. Lynn says, I think I've never been the red flag. How would you know that? Where are you living? In Kenya. In Kenya, guys, let's sub up, like and subscribe. uh Okay, so how do you know that you've never been the red flag? Guys, we're talking about red flags on the first date, okay? On the first date, what are some of the things that somebody can do and then you're like, you know what? Nope. I think somebody said ordering expensive things. Like, it was a guy who was saying that, like, if you're taking a woman on a first date and then she's ordering things that she can't even buy for herself, that's literally a red flag. I don't know, okay? I think most of us don't realize when you're being the red flag. But personally, I think I do. Maybe I'll say something and then I'll go home and beat myself up. I'm like, why would you say that on the first date, one boy? Why? Why would you say that? Have you ever farted on your first date? Let's start there. Have you have you ever farted on your first date? You're like, God, no, heck no. It's very I think that would be the worst. Have anybody ever farted on their first date? mm, plant-based vegan says, wow, you're absolutely beautiful beyond measure. Your beautiful smile and eyes sent chills to my eyes. So okay, thank you so much. Guys, let me know some of the red flags. And I'm just asking, no, just asking. Maybe CJ, if you're still here, have you ever farted on the first date? Okay, so another red flag for me on a first date is somebody, like, you could literally see that they didn't put any effort into looking good on the first date. Like, they just didn't care. Like, they just look all raggedy and stuff, and you can literally tell that they really don't care. Because I feel like, for someone, let me tell you how you cannot ignore that. When someone is really wants you, or like they really care about your opinion, they will try to look as good as they will try to look the best, because they really want maybe to impress you or something. So yeah, somebody who looks like they didn't put any effort into that. I did talk about a man who is flirting with the waitress. That's a red flag on the first date. Like, you're trying to get me and you're already flirting with the waitress. um Somebody who makes everything sexual too fast. Okay, so what's a red flag people ignore because the person is attractive? Looks are deceiving. Why do you say that? Why do you say looks are deceiving? Oh, CJ, are you saying that I'm a red flag? Guys, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. Ooh. Lava says sometimes people aren't what they seem. Yeah, and that's why you need to go on the first, second, and third date. Okay. um, okay, I think that's why you're supposed to go on first, second, third, fourth, fifth date, because of course looks are deceiving, but if you get to know, I feel like our problem as a society is like we want to know people with our bodies. We don't really get to give them a chance. We don't get to know them for who they really are. We literally want to run, uh we want to run and maybe lay down with them without even thinking twice or something. Okay, so I can see why you would say looks are deceiving, but yep. Do you think a woman should help pay on the first date? Good question, guys. Let me pin that question. Let me hear, guys. Do you think? Let me pin that. Do you think a woman should help pay on the first date? Do you think a woman should help pay on the first date? Okay, I'll give my opinion. Let me give you guys a chance to answer that. Do you think a woman should help pay on the first date? Guys, and if you're watching this, you haven't subscribed, kindly. Do you think a woman should help pay on the first date? Do you think a woman should help pay on the first date? I mean, it depends on the situation. If we are in school, let's say we are in university and we want to go out, then in that case we can maybe divide the bill into two, okay, because we are all trying to. But when it comes to like a scenario where you have a job, honestly I expect the man to pay on the first date. What do you guys think? Do you think a woman should pay on the first date? Do you think a woman should pay on the first date? Honestly, I don't, unless it's like you guys are in school or something, so which means nobody is earning. But if you as a guy, if as a man you can pay, why not pay? Do you think a woman should help pay on their first date? But a woman paying just feels wrong. It just feels, no. It feels like she's trying to get you. No, I don't think a woman should help pay on the first date. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Because if you can't even pay for the, if you can't at least pay for the first date, what else can you even pay for? Okay. And even as a man, I feel like men like to show that, like, you know what, I can pay on this fast, I can feed you. That's when you get to show literally you can feed somebody. Okay. Do you think a woman should help pay on the first date? Do you think a woman should help pay on the first date? Ooh. Wow, interesting. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think a woman should help pay on the first date. What do you think, love man? Do you think a woman should help pay on the first date? Uh, so if I'm broke, that means I can take you. That's why I said it depends with the scenario. Like it honestly depends with the situation. If you're coming from a place of like, let's say we both are not working, so we gotta make this happen. So which means, we gotta cost share the price or whatever. But I think if you're in a position where, like, if you're in a position where you can pay for the first date as a man, why not pay for the first date? Guys, who should pay for the first date? Who should pay for the first date? I honestly think the guy should pay for the first date. Definitely. Because you're trying to win her. Although I can understand in a situation, if you're broke and maybe she's still, in that case, you guys, I feel like can talk that out, but mostly I feel like the guy should pay. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Why not? Joseph Wambura says hello. Hello to you. Like Dan. Oh my God, you're usually so fast with that one. Thank you so much. So Joseph, do you think a woman should help pay for the first date? Do you think a woman should help pay on their first date? Do you think a woman should help pay on their first date? Uh, oh, my friend, good to see you. Anna Mihaki says, came in late, but I had to show up. That dress looks so cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, do you think a woman should help pay on the first date? Maybe everybody can contribute to that. Maybe Anna, do you think a woman should help pay on the first date? Or should a man just pay? Honestly, I feel like if you can't pay for the first date, what else can you pay for? Juliet Precious says, I think he says, hi, nope. Oh, Juliet is saying a woman shouldn't help pay on the first date. What is you guys' opinion? Do you think a woman should help pay on the first date? For me, I just think it depends on the scenario. If you guys, both of you are in school and it's like nobody's working, that's something. But if as a man you're working, why not pay for the first date? Oh, why would you even invite a woman for a first date? Okay, you can meet anywhere else. It doesn't have to be somewhere where somebody needs to pay something. Because if you can't pay for the first date, what can you pay for? Juliet Precious says hi. Hi to you. Welcome to the live stream. Oh my god, you guys. We're talking about red flags on the first date. Something that somebody can say and then you're like, you know what? This ain't it. This ain't it. Okay? Or you're like, even if you get inside, you know you regret somewhere down the line. Okay, another one is saying I'm toxic, I'm very toxic proudly, okay? Saying, you know, I usually like I'm so toxic. I think you guys, all of you have met people who like to tumble. Yeah, you know, I'm difficult. Yeah, I am so difficult. Like honestly, why would you term yourself like that? So which means you're being toxic on purpose, okay? Saying that I'm very toxic proudly. Wow, we almost past the 1 hour. Let me saying that you're too toxic proudly, that doesn't sound like someone that you want to be with, honestly. Okay, it sounds like you should run for your life. Run for your life. Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. My good name is Omboy. Thank you so much for being here. I think we've been talking about red flags on a first date. Red flags on a first date. So let me know some of the red flags that maybe you've experienced on a first date. But I think I have explored most of the ones. I think what's a red flag people ignore because the person is attractive. If someone, I feel like people ignore all the red flags if somebody is being attractive. If the partner is being, if the partner is attractive, then I feel like people ignore everything. Okay, like you really don't care about, oh, that's just how you look. So that if you're attractive, you really want to be with someone because they're attractive. I feel like people ignore everything. You ignore somebody who is literally talking to you about their exes all the time, constantly on their phone, making everything sexual too fast, and then mostly like it's always about them. Okay, anything that you're talking about, it's always about them. They're not even listening to you and stuff. Okay. uh Ordering expensive things that they couldn't even buy for themselves and stuff. Okay, guys, we usually do this live stream for like 2 hours, but I think today we're gonna end a little bit earlier. We already at 1 hour 10 minutes. I think that would be a good one. Okay, Mondays are usually like uh-huh. Loveman says people ignore red flags, get married, and then regret it for the rest of their lives. Okay, because most of the time you ignore and then you get married to this really attractive person. Okay, but the fact that you ignored all the things they were calling their ex on your first date, calling their ex, and then they're telling you, oh, we are just really good friends with my ex. Hello, and then they just talk, and then you're like, okay, if they're just good friends, then that's okay. So you ignore that, and then a few years down the line, they have a child together, and then you regret for the rest of your life. What else can you ignore when it comes to that steam, you guys? Uh, let's say somebody on your first date is already like putting you down by making jokes. That's literally an insult. You ignore that. That's the person who will be calling you ugly, who will be calling all this type of stuff. This is the same person that's supposed to tell you that you're attractive, you look good and stuff. If somebody can tell you you look good on the first date, I don't know when or which other time they can literally say that to you. Another one, somebody didn't put any effort in their appearance on the first date. Nope, because I feel like they will never put any effort. If they didn't put any effort into that, they will never. Uh, Anam Nihaki says, I don't think I can pay on the first date. The guy should have organized that honestly. Unless it's an emergency. That's literally it, okay? I feel like you will help with the bills down the line, but that's his chance to show off. That's his chance to show off. I think I'm laughing because I remember one of my cousins was telling me a story of how she ended up with her current husband. Okay, so she was telling me that he organized like a small date where they had to go out, and he bought like a kind of, I don't know, maybe you guys know about Coca-Cola. Yeah, I think even in the US there is Coca-Cola. He bought her Coca-Cola and chips. What are they called? French fries. Okay, and that was their first date. But imagine, like, it could be as cheap as that. You know, as a man, you know your pocket. You know, like, how deep is your pocket. So you're not gonna take her in $100 restaurant. If you can only afford $10, take her to such a place. Okay, she'll really appreciate that. Uh, Lucy the Jelly says, "Do you know the story about English language?" Nope. Which story? Tell us about it. Tell us about it. I think to love man. I think I'm with Anna. I think the guy should have organized the whole thing. Like, you don't tell people. You know, we shall go on a date, and then you are counting on them paying. No. Also, another thing, and also this have reminded me when I was in campus. You know, sometimes we used to have a friend. Okay, she would say, okay, let's go out on this specific day. She is a milk, okay? So, and then when she would say that, it's like you would assume she's gonna go and pay for you guys, okay? So, you guys accompany her, then you guys are gonna go and then you're ordering stuff. And then at the end of the day, when the bill shows up, she's like, let's split, everybody pay their portion. God! So that would remind me such a situation where you go out with friends and then you split the bill. You go to the club, you buy some drinks, and then after the bill shows up, you split the bill. But I can't be splitting bills with my friends and then split bills with my man. Or when it comes to first date, no. Or when it comes to dates in general. Forgiveness is underrated says, hello, my favorite debater. Oh, hello to you. Forgiveness is underrated. Guys, when you join in, kindly like the live stream and subscribe. Lucy the Jolly says, English was born in London, raised in United States, died in Ghana, turned like a ghost in Nigeria. I'm gonna tell you, my friend, you're so right on that one because whoa. Oh, no offense to any Nigerians in the building. God, I want to learn that English. What is it called? Pig? What is pig dreamy? Oh, God, I don't know. Welcome to the live stream, you guys. Welcome to the live stream. I think there's something that I wanted to say. No, I wanted the people who've just joined in. Let me know some of the red flags that for you cannot ignore on the first date. Red flags on the first date. And guys, let's keep subbing up and liking the live stream. My good name is Omboy. Oh, Lord. We are talking about red flags on a first date. Red flags on a first date. Good evening to you. Good to see you. How are you doing? Welcome back to the show. Okay, we're talking about red flags on a first date. Something that would make you think, okay, yeah, this is the last time you're gonna ever hear from me. Okay. I think I've shared mine. Let me run you guys through what I've just shared. this is the first date. Somebody is constantly on their phone, oversharing too quickly, talking so much about their exes, obsessed with their exes, asking weird personal financial questions. Um, okay, didn't put any energy into their appearance. Loveman says, have you ever went on a date with a white man? Why? Why? Uh, Making everything sexual too fast, trauma dumping in the first hour, making jokes that are actually insults, saying I'm very toxic proudly, as if that should be given a crown or something. Oh, forgiveness is underrated says, how, hey, I will cook ugali and it's going to be a home date. To be a home date better. You know what? That's what I'm saying. Okay, you know what? Don't, if you have $5, take somebody on a $5 date. You don't have to go to a restaurant that you have to pay $100, okay? And that's also it. You can even plan, like, clean the house, invite her over, set up something. Let's have something going on, and the date can just occur like that. Honestly, that could be a good one, but I feel like that doesn't really show your seriousness or like your ability to even pay for anything, because I feel like the first date communicates a lot of things. Your ability to pay, you know. Also, when you take a lady on a first date, she feels honored. Like, you know, when you invite a lady to your place and it's like, do you even respect her? Is there any dignity in that scenario? Uh, Loveman says, just curious. Okay, I would rather not answer that question. Uh, that's if she's humble enough to want that. Yeah, you know, that's what it is. But not humble enough. Sometimes it's about, can't you just sacrifice? Can you imagine you want to invite somebody over for the first day and then cook ugali, something that they have at home every other day? Why can't you put some effort in there? Jindani Anasi says hi to you guys. You can still tell me which country you're watching me from. Thank you so much for tuning in. My good name is Omboy. We've been talking about what screams red flag on a first date. Joseph Edward says hi to you, good to see you, welcome on the channel. Let me know some of the red flags that you know I have talked, or what I'm saying from my side, I'm giving from a lady's perspective. Let me know if you guys, can you give me the perspective from a man's side? What is the things that ladies usually do on first dates and then you're like, God, this woman, I don't want to see her ever again? What are some of those things? Kiyomu Hendo Frank says hi to you, good to see you, welcome on here, guys. You guys feel so welcome on the channel, guys. Let's grow the channel by subscribing. Thank you to everybody who is liking. Forgiveness is underrated says, come on, bring you to my private space and cook and make sure she's comfortable and have a real chat without feeling rushed. Okay, if that's the case, without feeling rushed, because I feel like most guys, what they do is like they invite ladies to their place, and then you really, and the reason, you know, the reason why it's not a good idea to invite a lady to your place for a first date, because most of the time it just ends up sexual. If you cannot control yourself, like, you don't need to be inviting her for fun, especially if you want her for long term. Okay, I don't think it's a good idea if you want this lady long term to invite you in the house, unless you won't rush, unless you want to be loving, unless you make her. Jindani Arnasi says hello in the construction site, my beautiful. How did Oh, God, I'm good. Welcome to the live stream. Faricia, hello, beautiful. Hello to you. Good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. We are talking about what screams red flags on a first date. Like, you know what? That's such a red flag. CJ says, really, that's the best place for first dates. At home? Okay, it can be, but is it only good for the men? Because do you want to invite a woman over at your place for a first date just so that you can make it sexual at the end of the day? Giuliano Besta says, hey to you, good to see you guys. Guys, let's subscribe. Please like, share, comment, all those things. Let me know some of the things that have happened to you on a first date, and then you're like, even the guys, I want to hear the guys' perspectives. You guys always say that women are saying these things, but you guys don't tell your side of the story. Like, you don't tell us what pisses you off on a first date. What can a woman do that really pisses you off on a first date? Okay, I've said a man who doesn't put any effort into the first date, like doesn't put any effort whatsoever. You just come looking the way you want, smelling the way you want. Nope. Uh, Also, I've said I'm chewing loudly. You don't need to be chewing loudly. I want to see that, like, I want to see. Okay, I don't want you to be nervous. I want you to have some level of confidence. But I just want to, that feeling like where I know you really want me as a person and you don't want to fump or anything. I want you to try to be so perfect. I just don't want you to show up looking like you've been run over by a truck before getting to the date. Have you ever brought an overnight bag for a first date? No. No. Also, you guys have to realize that I'm also so young. I just graduated from university in 2024. So, and also most of my experiences are when I was in campus. So which means I wasn't even trying to be serious with anybody, okay? Like, I was trying to have fun. So that's your answer right there. Dijani Anasi says, my name is Anasi Jidani. I come from Mayotte. Mayotte is located between Africa and Madagascar. Madagascar is in Africa, even though it's an island. Okay. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. My good name is Omboy. We're still talking about what screams red flag on a first date. So welcome to the live stream, Anasi. Okay. And I did ask a question. Have you ever been the red flag on a first date? Have you ever been the red flag on a first date? Faricia. I think Faricia says, oh, okay. Okay. First date. It seems like most people have not had their first date yet. Maybe you guys are still planning your first date. Did you just change the question? No, I didn't. I didn't change the question. The thing is, we are seeing it from different perspectives. Forgiveness is underrated said that, like, for him, he wants to invite a lady over to his place and then cook something special, and then they can just enjoy with the lady. Yeah, so which means, no, I'm just answering people's questions on here. Okay, welcome to the live stream. We're still talking about red flag on a first date. Red flag on a first date. Kama Wamboi. Oh, namesake. Jalala. No, we are not sleeping. How can we sleep when the economy is at such a bad place? But welcome on here. Make sure you subscribe. I like to see people with my name. I think my subscribers think my name is really special. Oh God, Anasi, please keep it respectful. I don't want to, like, delete your stuff or, like, yeah, keep it respectful, please. So before you guys joined in, I did ask, can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? Can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? Can a bad first date still turn into a good relationship? If you haven't answered, guys, you can just go through the questions and maybe answer. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for being here. We are still talking about first date. I think, Kama Wamboy, I would like to know, what are some of the red flags on a first date? Or do you just say, like, forgiveness is underrated? You just invite the lady over, cook some ugali, Kama Wamboy. Okay, I just don't know if you're female or male because that could be your surname or stuff. But whatever. Which one do you prefer? Going on a first date in the house or going to a restaurant? Which one is better? I feel like if you're trying to get laid, the house is better, okay? But if you want something serious and long term and you don't want to feel rushed, I feel like restaurant is the go-to, okay? So let me give you guys a scenario. How would you react? How would you house? Why the house? So let me ask you guys a question. How would you react when a lady, let's say you have this lady, she has 3 children, okay? So she has 3 children, and then you meet her, you like her, you want to be with her, and then she tells you that like she likes you too, but she's not going to fornicate, okay? So she's not gonna have sex before marriage anymore, okay? So for you for you to have any sexual activities with her or involvement, you have to marry her. Like she's rededicated herself to God, or like she's changed her mind with the whole perception about fornication. Remember, she have 3 children. Would you buy that? Would you buy that? uh and as he says, forgive me, but you're very pretty, you're also very beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Would you buy that? Guys, that scenario where I just told you, you meet this lady, she has 3 children, but then she's rededicated her life to God, and like she's decided like she's not gonna be fornicating anymore. So what would you do in such a scenario? Like she's decided to rededicate herself, like she's not gonna do that. So she, remember, she has 3 children, so to okay, you guys understand the scenario. So what would be your answer? Come on, boy says, if you want to know someone, go to his house. Okay, good point. Good point. But I feel like in the house, you kind of lose your power. You kind of lose your, you know, you kind of lose your power because now you are at this person's house. Okay. Okay, what's your answer to that? Like, uh, when you go to the house, yes, it's a good one. It's cheap. It's maybe comfortable for both of you, but I don't feel like, I feel like if you start the relationship with shortcuts, it will also end like that with shortcuts. And I feel like that's why most of us, like, they never last, because we always start with shortcuts. Okay, guys, we are still getting to the end of the show. I usually do 2 hours. Today I did say that we're not going to do exactly 2 hours. But you know, guys, tomorrow is usually on Tuesday where we like try, or like we do the whole 2 hours. um 40-year-old, okay, good for you, good for you. Okay, welcome to the live stream, everybody. Can you like the live stream and subscribe? My good name is Omboy. We've been talking about what screams red flag on a first date. What screams red flag on a first date? We've talked about so many things. We've talked about so many things. So if you have something to add on to that one, or maybe your, what would you call it? Summary or something? Yeah. I think at the end of the day, when it comes to the whole topic about red flags on a first date, it honestly depends with what you believe in. What's a red flag to me might not be a red flag to another person. What's a red flag to you might not be a red flag to me. Honestly, it just depends with what you believe in and stuff like that, okay? So, I think we can sit here and say that this is a red flag, this is not a red flag, because it honestly depends. It depends with somebody, your values, what you are into, what you want to do. I think that's what it depends on. So, yeah, I think that's what it depends on. Uh, so I feel like when it comes to this topic, my summary on my end, red flags on a first date, there's so many of them, and I feel like both men and women can have those red flags. So I don't know if you ignore, I don't know how the relationship will go. I don't know if it will go north, south, east, or west. But at the end of the day, you gotta be real careful and make sure you're making decisions that you're not going to regret. Okay. So I think you guys were gonna stop at that. If you haven't subscribed, kindly consider subscribing. I normally go live every day, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So always look for me at that hour. So I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow, same time, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So convert that to your local time. Yes, it's usually 8 p.m. Kenyan time. Convert that to your local time, you're gonna find out. So I think I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. And thank you so much for contributing to the topic. And make sure these topics that we are having here, this is real life. This is real life. That's why I like doing these topics, because this is real life, and maybe by speaking on here, we get to learn something from each other one way or another. So, yep, I think I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Also, you can also watch my previous videos, the previous topics that you've had right here on I Am One Boy. So, thank you, everybody. And I think until tomorrow, bye bye.